The last full moon of 2025 is really saying it is what it is. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Stop taking life so seriously. Come back to optimism. Come back to play. Come back to curiosity. Come back to whimsy. Stop getting so caught up in the woulda, coulda, shoulda. You have zero control over that. Stop trying to follow down the same paths that are leading nowhere. This full moon is revealing new paths that you have yet to consider. You are at a place, especially if you're a mutable sign, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, where you feel like you have ran out of options. But this full moon in Gemini is going to be changing that perspective. This is a very disruptive full moon, especially considering it is a super moon. And Gemini loves to disrupt. Gemini loves to wreak a little havoc, if you will. Gemini loves to press the randomizer button. Gemini loves to mix the freaking bag, right? So this is a very unpredictable energy. It's activating the mutable axis here, right? Unpredictability, lots of sudden changes, lots of alternatives presenting themselves, lots of solutions presenting themselves. As long as you lead with curiosity, this full moon is going to be allowing you to start asking the right questions to gain the clarity that you need to really close out this year. This full moon is saying you do not have to let it linger. You do not have to let it linger. You do not need to be living in the lingering, in the delusions, because that does nothing to actually protect you. The delusions that you build around yourself do nothing to protect you, because the wake-up call is going to be that much nastier. Gemini shows us that you are better off accepting reality for the way it is so that you can actually change it. The more you avoid your reality, it's impossible to actually change it. So what this full moon in Gemini is saying, the last full moon of 2025, is that when you change your mind, you change timelines, right? And so we have this taste of momentum this week on December 4th with this full moon in Gemini. Finally, a taste of momentum. Because November, with all of the Scorpio energy that we were experiencing, and that carries into December, because we still have this grand water trine happening between Mercury in Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, and then, of course, Saturn in Pisces. And the problem with water energy is that it gets stale very quickly. When you leave out a glass of water for a little bit, eventually it starts to taste very grimy and gritty and just stale. It doesn't taste as refreshing, right? So this full moon in Gemini is revealing what is stale. It's revealing what is not working. It's revealing what is broken. Resist the urge to fix what is broken. This full moon is revealing to us where we have been setting ourselves up. It's encouraging us to start surprising ourselves more. Shock yourself. Do something that makes you uncomfortable. Get out of your comfort zone. Release the need of familiarity. This full moon is asking us to step away from familiarity, and it's really highlighting the themes of 2025 itself, which has been about surrender versus control. And that's because we've had the North Node in Pisces and then the South Node in Virgo. The North Node in Pisces is about intuition, the divine, the mystery. And then Virgo is about the familiarity, the mundane, the tangible. Virgo is about being practical, not the facts of the matter. And then Pisces is about trusting in the divine, trusting and having faith without needing proof and evidence. But Mercury says we need the facts, we need the evidence. So this full moon is absolutely going to be revealing important information, and it's also going to be spilling the goddamn tea. It's really kind of almost a choose your adventure energy because of all the paths that are going to be revealing themselves with this full moon in Gemini. And it's really going to be something that we get to explore and unearth as we go into 2026. If it sounds ambiguous, it's because it is. Mutable energy, especially Gemini, loves the ambiguity. And this is something that's going to be really affecting the mid to early degree mutable signs because this is a 13-degree full moon. So this is really going to feel like almost a crossroads and a bit of an emotional tug of war between what we want to believe versus what is real. And so when we really, and there's something very spiritual about that feeling of acceptance and those realizations that are going to be coming forward with this super moon, okay? And when we accept those things, it's only up from here. We're going to be getting to a place with this full moon of like, I've seen enough in this area, especially with your Gemini house and your mutable ruled houses, okay? You have seen enough in those areas. You know everything that you need to know, mainly because I really associate Gemini with the Jester core. Geminis are natural magicians, and it's kind of a trickster energy, but also the Jester is so underestimated. Everyone looks past the Jester, but the Jester knows everybody. The Jester knows a lot of tea. The Jester sees everything. So with this full moon, it's really going to feel like you can run, but you can't hide. It's really going to feel like things that have been left unsaid will be said, will be coming forward. And, really releasing a lot of the thoughts that you have. You're kind of like decluttering your mind with this full moon in Gemini. You're letting a lot of long held thoughts finally breathe. So it's definitely a bit of a turning point where you start seeing something differently, and then it makes it easier for you to do it. It makes it easier for you to finally take that next step. You've been stuck in the sidelines and you've been thinking yourself out of it. You've been letting yourself think too much about it, and you've been keeping and holding yourself back. And now this full moon and moving forward, it's going to be the turning point where you can be like, actually, this isn't as big of a deal as I've been making it in my head. I've been allowing my thoughts and my logic to overpower my intuition, to overpower what I know deep down is right. So for a lot of us, especially the mutable signs, sun, moon, risings, especially the risings, okay, they are kind of reconnecting with their inner child. They are really reconnecting with their sense of optimism. This is really going to be a week where you're not going to want to like plan for a lot of things, because things are going to be kind of going a completely opposite that. So whatever, if you're sitting to your, thinking to yourself and you're like, oh, I definitely know it's going to go that way, it's probably going to go the exact opposite, right? So make room for that. And because Gemini is really that trickster energy, loves surprises, this full moon is really going to be illuminating, okay? Sometimes it can go better than how you might have imagined it. Sometimes things go in a way that you couldn't have even possibly planned for. And, I think this full moon is going to be highlighting, if you've been feeling that restlessness, that stressful, that anxious energy, it likely is just some pent up creative energy. You are bored. So it's time to step out of your comfort zone.